All right. Welcome to Shailly's English School. I'm Shailly here. Let's see. Welcome. We got one person already online. Thank you for joining. How are you today? Today's going to be a very fun lesson. This will be my second time doing a live lesson. And I'm excited. I had a lot of fun in the first lesson. Today, we are going to be doing a very useful lesson. Today's lesson is going to be on requests. We'll be making different types of requests today. Requests are so useful in English. We use them a lot. If you're traveling, you're going to be using requests. At business, you're going to be using requests. When you're talking with your friends, you'll be using requests. And that's what we will study today. It's such a useful lesson. And if you can master using requests, then you will be speaking a lot easier, a lot more fluent, a lot better. All right, so we got some more people joining here. Before we start, let me know where you're watching from. Hello, YFS. How are you today? Where are you watching from today? It is 12 p.m. It's noon here in Tokyo. So I'm hoping it is a good time or a suitable time for everyone watching wherever you are. I tried to put different times on the post on YouTube. So I put the GMT time, I put like the West African time, I put the Indian time, I put the West Coast of the US time as well. XYZ family, hello, how are you today? From Japan, nice. So we are in the same location. It's probably, well, it is definitely noon for you as well. All right, let's get started. Today, we're going to be doing requests. Requests, like I said, very, very useful. I'm going to share my screen here with you, and we can look at today's lesson. All right, just give me a sec to grab the lesson here for you. And there we go. Today is requests. Now, whenever you make a request, there's so many ways you can do it. We can go from casual to very, very polite. Now, first, what is a request? Let's go over that first. Before we move on, we should understand what a request is. And I've written here, basically, a request is a question. I want someone to do something. I don't want to do it. I want someone to do it. So I will ask them to do it. So that's called a request. Now, if you look down here, we've got casual to more polite. Now, can is going to be the most casual. And we're going to go all the way down to would you mind? Now, I said this in the last lesson, and I say this a lot to people throughout all my lessons. Can is casual, but it's not bad. So don't feel that you shouldn't use can. Can is completely fine. I use it probably the most out of all of these question words. I probably use can and could the most. So if we go through here, we've got some example sentences, example questions as well. At home, it's a good opportunity for you to repeat after me. Practice your English. Hopefully you're in a quiet space where there's nobody watching you, but just practice. Repeat after me. And we're going to start with this one. Can you pass me the salt? This means you want salt, so you're asking someone to pass it to you. Next, Will you open the window? Will you open the window? I want you to be really careful with this one. Will. Will is only used for your friends and family. Do not use will at work. Do not use will with strangers. It's very casual and it's meant to be used only with friends and family. Next, we've got could. Could you please wait? Okay, please repeat after me. Could you please wait? Next, we've got would. Would becomes even more polite. Would you sit down, please? Would you sit down, please? And next, we've got the most polite. We've got do you mind and would you mind? Now, if you're using this word mind, do you mind, would you mind? You have to be very, very careful when you answer the question. Okay. But first, let's look at the question itself. After the word do you mind, would you mind, I want you to use the ing verb. Okay. Do not use the regular present tense. Don't use past tense. Please use the ing. So, do you mind babysitting for me? Would you mind translating this for me? We have to use the ing here. Now, at the very bottom, I said, be careful with mind questions. I say this because if you answer this question, yes means no, and no means yes. So, would you mind? That means, do you care? Is it a problem for you? No, it's not a problem. That means okay. But if I say yes, that means yes, I mind, I care, it's a problem. So that means I don't want to do it. So be really careful when you answer that question. It's the opposite. Okay. So another thing I want you to be careful with is could. When we make the question, could you please wait? Could you please wait? When we answer that question, I don't want you to say, yes, I could. Okay. This is incorrect. When we answer a could question, when we're talking about requests, I want you to say, yes, I can, or no, I can't. So we're not going to use could when we answer the question. Okay, please use yes, I can, or no, I can't when you answer. Today, I want you to focus on 3 types of questions. I want you to focus on can, could, and we'll use would you mind. Okay, so I want you to focus on those 3 questions. Practice those 3 in today's lesson. Now, before we move to the exercise part, I want to focus just one more word, and that's the word please. If we use the word please, the question becomes more polite. Now, there are 2 places where you can put the word please. If we look at the bottom, most common is we put please at the end of the sentence. Would you shut the window, please? But I want you to also know that it's possible to put please before the verb. So my verb is lent. So before the verb, I can put the word please. this is another option for you. A lot of native English speakers, we love to put please before the verb. So if you want to practice sounding more like a native speaker, try putting please before the verb. Okay, so before we move to the exercises, does anybody have any questions about making a request question? Remember, we're going to be using can, could, and would you mind today. All right, I'm going to make this circle a little bit nicer. Does anybody have any questions? Do you understand the grammar for this? And I know some of you might be watching on your phone, so it's going to take time to type your questions or type your answers. So I will definitely give you time to answer or ask questions. So again, today, requests, we will be making the questions, can you, could you, and would you mind? Those are the three we will practice in today's lesson. Okay, so I think there are no questions. So far, there's no questions in the comment section. So let's move along. Let's try the first exercise. And I think after you practice this exercise, if you have any questions, most likely you will understand it after this question. Okay, so remember, today we will be using can you, could you, or would you mind, plus verb ing. Okay, so those are the three that we'll be using today. So let's move to our first exercise. Our first exercise is a fill in the blank exercise. So as you can see, I've got a sentence, I've got a request question, but there's no verb here. I'm missing the verb. So I would like you to choose the correct verb from up here and complete the sentence. So let's go over the main verbs first. We've got lend, turn up, bring, open, turn down, and hold. So number one, can you something me another drink, please? Can you something me another drink, please? Who can answer this question? Can you something me another drink, please? So will you choose lend, turn up, bring, open, turn down, or hold? All right, YFS answers bring. XYZ also answers bring. Perfect, perfect. Can you bring me another drink, please? Most likely, this question is in a restaurant. You're asking the waiter or the waitress, can you bring me another drink, please? Maybe you're asking your family member at home. So you want another drink. You are asking someone, can you bring me another drink, please? All right, and before we go to number 2, YFS had a question. So a could question, the answer of a could question is always can. Yes and no. If we are making a request, so it's a request question, then yes, our answer is always going to be using can. But if it's a past could question, we're not doing requests. So, could you see the movie yesterday? Then that's a past question. So my answer will be yes, I could. No, I couldn't. But with a request, if it's a could question, my answer is always yes, I can, or no, I can't. All right, so only for requests. Good question, YFS. All right, and we had another answer here, bring. Perfect. Perfect. Good job. All right, so next, let's look at number 2. Could you, and I'll make this a little bigger for everyone. Can everyone see the screen quite easily? Is it too small? Would you like me to zoom in more? If you want me to zoom in more, just type the word zoom, ZOOM, into the comment section. If you're fine, then don't worry. You don't need to type anything. Okay, looks like everyone's fine with that, that size. So number 2, it says, could you something me your car this weekend? Excuse me. Sorry, still trying to recover from my sickness. Could you something me your car this weekend? What is the correct answer here? Could you something me your car this weekend? So remember, we've got lend, turn up, bring, open, turn down, and hold. We know that number 1, we use the word bring. So for number 2, what will you answer? Could you something me your car this weekend? All right, so XYZ has answered lend. Could you lend me your car this weekend? Perfect answer. Perfect answer. Great. Great answer. The answer is lend. Lend. Now, this is a really useful word, but sometimes it's a little bit confusing. Many people will always confuse, when do I use the word lend and when do I use the word borrow? They are different, but they're quite similar. We use them in similar situations. Now, how I would suggest you remember this is whenever we're going to use lend, it's going to be, could you lend? Now, if I want to use borrow, it's going to be, could I borrow? Could I borrow? All right, so let's put this up here so everyone can see. Could you lend and could I borrow? That's the difference here. The meaning is the same. The meaning is the same, but our subject will be different. So it's could you lend and could I borrow? Okay, it's the same meaning. YFS, perfect. Your answer, lend. Excellent. Good job. So in this situation, the person would like to use maybe their friend's car, or maybe their brother's or sister's or mother's or father's car. So they're asking, Could you lend me your car this weekend? All right, number 3. What is your answer for number 3? Number 3, it's very cold out, or it's very cold inside. It's very cold inside. Would you, we can use lend, turn up, bring, open, turn down, or hold. Would you something the heat? Would you something the heat? So if you are very cold, you're very cold, maybe it's winter, what would you say here? Would you something the heat? Oh, we got a question here from XYZ regarding number 2. So let's hold your answer for number 3. Oh, you know what? XYZ already answered it as well. Perfect. Would you turn up the heat? Would you turn up the heat? That is perfect. Would you turn up the heat? Now, this means I want you to raise the level of the heat. I want you to increase the heat. So we often use the phrasal verb turn up. Now, turn up is very useful. We often use it in 2 situations. If we're talking about heaters, like the heat, the air conditioner, right? So we turn up, but also we can use it, and we're going to do it in number 4 here. We use it for the volume also. If I can't hear the TV, I would say, could you turn up the TV? Could you turn up the TV? That means the volume. Now, I want to go back to a question from XYZ. It says, in this situation, I always say, could I use your car this weekend? Is that also okay to use? That's perfectly fine, XYZ. Could I use your car this weekend? That is completely fine. That is more of a permission sentence, but it's perfect. Could I use your car this weekend? It is perfect. So yes, no problem. You can use that question. Would you turn down? Oh, so I think we've already got an answer for number 4, i.e. cats. The volume is so loud. Can you? And I think i.e. cats has already answered it. Turn down is the answer. Now, this one is really interesting because we have to separate the word. We're going to put turn it, and then after it, we'll put down. Turn it down. So the volume is so loud. Can you turn it down? All right, so that means you want to decrease the volume. Volume is too loud. Please put it lower. Turn it down. IE Cats, great job, great answer, and welcome, by the way. Number 5. Will something my bag for me? Will something my bag for me? What is your answer here? Will something my bag for me? We've got lend, which we've already used. Turn up, bring, open, turn down, and hold. And remember here, I'm using the word will. So this is very casual. So I'm most likely talking to my friend, close friend, or a family member. This is not for a stranger. It's not for a coworker. It's not at business. It's only for someone you know very well. So, will something my bag for me? This is a tricky one. This is a tricky one because there's also, I need you to add another word here. I want to see if you can catch it. Oh, there we go. I want everybody to see the verbs up top. Will something my bag for me? So I want you to imagine that maybe you have a bag, maybe you need to go to the restroom. So you want someone to, and XYZ answered it. Will you hold my bag for me? Will you hold my bag for me? And you added the subject. Very, very good. So I made this one a little bit trickier. You had to add the word you. Will you hold my bag for me? Will you hold my bag for me? Well done, XYZ. YFS, good. Hold is the correct answer. But yeah, we need to put the subject you. Will you? All right. Very good. And let's do the last fill in the blank exercise. Number 6. This jar is too tight. This jar is too tight. What does that mean? If a jar is too tight, that means it's difficult to open. Okay, let's say I've got a small jar here. I can't open it. The lid is very tight. So I'm going to ask someone, could you something it for me? Could you something it for me? So we've got, could you lend it for me? Could you turn up it for me? Can you bring it for me? Can you open it for me? Can you turn down, or could you hold? Very good. Yes, I said all of the answers there, but yes, you're right. I did give you the answer. Could you open it for me? I did. I did give the answer. YFS. Yes. Very, very good. You caught me. I'm sorry. Well done. Could you open it for me? All right. Excellent job. XYZ also open. Very well done. Okay. So that was the fill in the blank exercise. That was the fill in the blank exercise. Next, what we're going to do is a little bit more difficult. I am going to give you some situations. I want you to read the situation. I'll explain each situation. And in that situation, I want you to make a request. And in today's request, you can use can you could use could you, or you could use would you mind. And remember, if you use would you mind, please use the ing. All right, so let's go over the more active speaking part of this test. And let's go over an example first. So let's go over this example here. So the situation is you are in school and you don't have a pencil. You're in school and you don't have a pencil. You need a pencil if you're in school. So what will you ask your classmate? And I've got the answer written here. Can you lend me a pencil? Can you lend me a pencil? So I'm using the most casual can. But remember, can is completely fine. It's okay to use can. Can you lend me a pencil? So that is how we're going to practice this next section. Okay, so let's look at the first situation. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger here. First situation says, you need to enter a room, but your hands are full. Okay, what does that mean? Your hands are full. That means maybe you are carrying many things. So maybe you have many books or you have a big box. You cannot use your hands. So in that situation, we say, my hands are full. My hands are full. Okay, so, but I need to enter the next room. My hands are full. And luckily, my friend is near me. My friend is standing next to me. So I will request something. I will ask my friend to do something. What is your request question for this situation? And in this one, please use can. Can you? So I will tell you which request word to use. I'll put it onto the screen so you can see I've got the can you banner. So please make this question using can you. Okay, so again, your hands are full. You need to enter the next room. The door is shut. So I need to enter that room. What request will you ask your friend? And I'll give everyone some time to type your answers if you're using your phone. I know it's really hard to quickly type those. If you're using your iPad as well, it might be hard. If you're on a computer, might be easier. But take your time, think through the situation, and please make a can you question. And I'll start here just for everyone. I'll start everybody off by putting that can you. All right, so YFS and XYZ both answer the same. Can you open the door? Very good, very good. That is the perfect question. Can you open the door? If you want to be more polite, YFS, if you want to be more polite, how do you ask? What is the question? Can you open the door? How can I make that more polite? XYZ also, can you open the door? Perfect. Now, remember, if you want to make it more polite, we can add one word to make it more polite. What is the word we will add to make this question more polite? Okay, can you open the doors? Perfect. That's a perfect answer. Perfect question. But I want to make it a little bit more polite. So I add one word. What word will everybody who's watching, what word will you add to this question? If you joined us from the beginning, I did go over this. There's one word we could add. We can add it in two different locations. We can add it at the end of the sentence, or we can add it before the main verb. Okay, so could you open the door, please? All right, so YFS, could you open the door, please? One word, I changed two words. Yes, you made it even more polite. You used the word could and you added please. So yeah, so you changed two words. If you just wanted to add the one word, we just add please. So yeah, XYZ, please, exactly. If you add that word, it becomes more polite. And for me, I like to put the please in front of the verb. Okay? But it's also possible to put it at the end. Can you open the door, please? Both of those are fine. Two places you can add it. All right, let's look at number two. Let's look at number two. Number two says, you are at a restaurant and you ordered soup. You are about to eat, but you notice there is no spoon. What will you ask the waiter? All right, so you've ordered your soup. The soup has come. You're about to eat, and oh, no spoon. There's no spoon. So you get the waiter's attention, maybe eye contact. You call the waiter. Then what is the question you will ask the waiter? And in this one, let's use could you please. Let's make could you. All right, so your soup is in front of you. You want to eat, but no spoon. There's no spoon. What will you ask the waiter or the waitress? In this one, again, as I said, I'd like you to use could you. How will you ask the waiter? What will you ask the waiter? Excuse me. And also, if you don't want to type your answers, make sure you're speaking at home. It's okay to speak it at home. I have like crazy super hearing. I can hear all of your answers. So speak at home as well. Okay, so I'll go over the answer here. We're going to be could you. There's two verbs we can use in this situation. There's two different verbs we could use. YFS, you answered one. Could you please bring a spoon? Almost perfect. Almost perfect, YFS. In this situation, could you please? I like you added please here. The verb bring is great. Could you please bring? But who am I bringing it to? Who will the waiter bring it to? Me. Could you please bring me? We need to put a pronoun here. Could you please bring me a spoon? Could you please bring me a spoon? All right, good job with that answer, YFS. Now, I said there are two verbs we could use. Another verb that we could use here. Could you please get me a spoon? Now, both of these are fine. Bring me a spoon, get me a spoon. Bring and get are quite confusing. We're talking about three words, in fact: take, bring, and get. They're very, very confusing. I do have a lesson on this on my channel. So if you're confused how to use bring or get or take, please check out that video. In this situation, you could use both. Could you please bring me a spoon, or could you please get me a spoon? All right, let's move on. Let's move on. Number 3. The phone is ringing. The phone is ringing, but you are busy. What will you ask your friend to do? Sorry. And I want you to make a can you question. The phone is ringing, but you're busy. What will you ask your friend to do? So I want you to imagine maybe you're in the kitchen, you're cooking, and your phone is ringing. Ring, 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 but you're cooking. You can't, you can't go to your phone, but your friend is there. What will you ask your friend to do? And please make a can you question. Can you question? All right, the phone is ringing, but you're busy. What request will you ask your friend? Can you something? Okay, so let's put the answer right here. Can you... Now, if the phone is ringing, what verb do we use here? Can you... What is your answer? All right, I'll put the answer here. Can you answer the phone, please? Can you answer the phone, please? Oh, YFS, you answered it perfect. Can you answer the phone for me? Excellent. You added an extra word in there. Perfect, YFS. Can you answer the phone for me? Can you answer the phone, please? So in this situation, the verb that we will use is answer. Now, there are two situations where we use the verb answer. If the telephone is ringing, we say, can you answer the phone, please? Also, if somebody is at your front door, so somebody's knocking at your front door or they rang the doorbell, I'm busy, so I can ask my friend, can you answer the door? Can you answer the door? So telephone and front door, we will use the verb answer. Can you answer the front door? Okay, very good. YFS, well done with your answer there. All right, let's look. Situation number 4. Situation number 4, you're at the dinner table and you want some salt. You want some salt. Maybe there is a salt shaker on the table, but the salt shaker is not near you. The salt shaker is near your brother, your sister, your mom, your dad, or your friend. So what will you ask in this situation? And I'll put that word here. It's a good vocabulary word to know. Salt shaker. Salt shaker is the small little jar that has salt, which we can pour onto food. Salt shaker. All right, so you are at the dinner table. You want some salt. What will you ask your friend? And again, please use can you. Excuse me. Now, this is going to be a useful one whenever we're at the dinner table. Whenever we're at the dinner table, we're sitting around the table. Not everything is in front of you. You know, usually in front of you is your plate, and maybe there is some food, but there's a lot of food on the table. There are a lot of things on the table. So if you want those things, we have to ask this type of question. So can you, that's the question word we will use. Can you something? Can you something? All right. So I want the salt shaker. I want the salt. So my question I would ask my friend is, can you pass me the salt? Can you pass me the salt? All right. Anything on the kitchen table, we're going to use the verb pass. And don't forget, we need to add that pronoun pass me. Can you pass me the salt? All right, so that means your friend is going to maybe get the salt and pass it to you. Can you pass me the salt? Okay, let's look at number 5. Number 5, you are in a restaurant and you want to order dessert, but you don't have the dessert menu. You don't have the dessert menu, right? So if you want to order dessert, you need a dessert menu. So you call the waiter over and you're going to ask the waiter a question. And this time, I'd like you to make a very polite question. I'd like you to use would you mind and verb ing. Would you mind plus the verb ing. Okay, so again, you're at a restaurant, you're sitting at the table, you want dessert, but you don't have a dessert menu. You need that menu. So, what will you ask the waiter or waitress? And again, would you mind plus verb ing. And while you're at it, if you like dessert, also leave your favorite dessert in the comment section. What is your favorite dessert? Put it into the comment section. I think for me, my favorite dessert, it would probably have to be like a gooey, chocolatey, fudgy brownie. A gooey, chocolatey, fudgy brownie. That would probably be my favorite. That, or I like a classic sundae. A vanilla sundae with butterscotch sauce on top. So if we could combine that, like a brownie plus butterscotch sauce with ice cream, that would be perfect. I'm going to put in the comment section some of the words I use to describe the brownie: gooey, chocolatey, fudgy. Those are all words I described the brownie. Gooey means it's very moist. Maybe it's going to be quite wet inside. Chocolatey, strong chocolate. And fudge is very rich chocolate. Okay, so let's get back to the answer. You're at the restaurant. You want dessert. You don't have a menu. What will you ask your waiter? Please make a would you mind question. So we've got would you mind, and don't forget we have to be using an ing form of the verb. So my answer for this would be, would you mind bringing me a dessert menu? Would you mind bringing me a dessert menu? Now, this is a very polite question. You probably don't need to be this polite in a restaurant, but just to practice, let's practice using would you mind. So would you mind bringing me a dessert menu? And remember, when we answer this question, Yes means no, no means yes. So the waiter will say, oh, no problem. Please hold on a sec. Please hold on a sec. Okay, let's go to the next one. Number 6. You're at a cafe and you are very cold. The AC is running very cold. So, in this cafe, the AC, the air conditioner, is on very, very cold. So you are really cold. So, what will you ask the waiter, the waitress, or one of the staff members? YFS, would you mind getting me a dessert menu, please? Perfect. You use getting. Excellent job. All right. So, number 6, you're at a cafe. You're very cold. The AC is running very cold. What would you like the waiter or the waitress to do? And again, let's make a would you mind question. Would you mind question? I think in this situation, would you mind is probably the best choice because a cafe is a public place. So it's a very big request to, to do something with the AC. So it's, very, you need a very polite request for this. So I would suggest using would you mind plus verb ing. Okay, so if you've just joined me, I'm giving you a situation and I'd like you to make a request question. The request is would you mind plus verb ing. So in this situation, I want you to imagine you're at a cafe and it's very cold in the cafe. Maybe the AC is on very cold. It's running very cold. What will you ask the cafe staff to do? What is your question? Again, remember, we're going to be using would you mind here. Would you mind? And I'll give you a hint to if, whoever's been watching from the very beginning, we practiced the verb for this answer in the first fill in the blank exercise. That's a big hint for you. Would you mind something? Okay, so the answer for this, I'll give you, what? I'll give everyone another few seconds. I know how hard it is to type on your phones. The keyboard is so tiny. So, would you mind something? What will you ask the waiter or waitress or one of the staff members? Okay, so my answer for this is would you mind turning up the heat? That's one option. Another option we could do is would you mind turning the AC off? Would you mind turning the AC off? YFS has even another answer. Would you mind turning up the AC? Turning up the AC. Yeah, perfect. Turning up means you're increasing the temperature. Maybe the temperature is at 22 degrees Celsius. That's super cold. So we want to increase it. So we want it to put it to 27, 28. If anybody is doing Fahrenheit, 22 is, I think 22 degrees Celsius to Fahrenheit is like 71 degrees. 71 degrees. Okay, so would you mind turning up the AC? Perfect. Good answer. YFS. Okay, let's go to the next one. Let's go to the next one. Number 7. You want your employees' report by Friday. Okay, this is more of a business one. So I want you to imagine you're the boss. You asked your employee to write a report. You need that report and you need it by Friday. What request, what question will you ask your employee? Okay, so again, you want your employee's report. You are going to ask your employee a question. What question will you ask? And for this one, let's go a little bit more, not as polite. Let's use could you. Please make a could you question. Let's move this out of the way here. All right, so for this one here, if I'm the boss and I need my employee's report, my question would be, could you give me your report Friday? If you want to have a more, business English vocabulary word, a more difficult verb, instead of give me, I could use the word submit. Could you submit your report by Friday? If I use submit, I don't need the pronoun me. All right, so you can say, could you give me your report by Friday? Or could you submit your report by Friday? Both of those would work. Okay, could you give me your report by Friday? Could you submit your report by Friday? Okay, next one is also more towards business English. So your important client is coming to Japan today, or your important client is coming to your location today. You can't go to the airport. You can't go to the airport. So you cannot, meet your client. You cannot bring your client back. But your assistant is free. Your assistant is free. What will you ask your assistant? Okay. And let's go more polite. Let's go polite. Even though it's your assistant, let's go polite. Let's make a would you mind question. Would you mind? Okay, so again, remember, your important client is coming today from another city. They're going to be flying into your city, your country. In my example, they're coming to Japan today. I can't go to the airport. I can't meet the client. But my assistant is free. My assistant is free. So what will I ask? Okay, so for me, in this situation, if I'm going to be using a very polite question, again, we use would you mind? So, would you mind picking up my client from the airport today? Would you mind picking up the client from the airport today? All right, so XYZ's got an answer. Would you mind picking the client up at the airport? Perfect. You put the client in a different location. That is perfect. So whenever you have a phrasal verb, so pick up, picking up, if you're using a noun, in this situation, the client or my client, we can put it at the end after the verb or in between the verb and the preposition. So great job, XYZ. Okay, let's keep going. We got two more to go here. And in fact, I've actually got a lot of situations here. So if you do want extra practice, if you want to practice making requests, just send me a message and we can figure out how I can get you some extra practice. So we have two more to go. Let's finish strong. Number 9. Number 9 says, you are in a restaurant and you want to leave. You are in a restaurant and you want to leave. Okay, so let me give you some more information. So I want you to imagine you've finished eating. You had your dinner, you've had dessert, you've had your coffee. Now you're done. You're done. You want to leave. You want to go home. But you can't just leave. There's something you have to do first. So, you need money, you need to pay. But in order to pay, you have to ask the waiter something. What question will you ask the waiter? You want something. You want the waiter to do something. What? What do you want the waiter to do? And in this situation, let's go more casual. Let's use a can you question. Can you question? So you're in the restaurant, you've finished eating your dinner, you've finished everything. All you need to do now is pay. You want to pay the money, but you need something first. You want the waiter to do something. So, what will you ask the waiter or the waitress to do? And again, we are using can you in this situation. Can you? My answer for this, can you, is now before I can leave, I need to pay. Can you bring me the check, please? Can you bring me the check, please? All right, so you can't leave until you pay. You can't pay until you receive the check. So you need the waiter to bring the check for you. Can you bring me the check, please? Now, does anybody know another vocabulary word that we can use instead of check? Does anybody know another word? It's the same meaning, but we have a different word. not check. What is another word? Does anybody know that vocabulary word? So there's two words we can use. Can you bring me the check, please? XYZ. Can you bring the bill, please? Yeah, can you bring me? Can you bring me? Don't forget the word me, XYZ. But yes, bill. Bill is another word that we can use instead of check. It's the same meaning. Check equals bill. Okay, very good, very good. YFS, bill. Yes, you are correct. Bill is correct. Okay, next, number 10. Last one today. This is the last one we'll practice today. You are at Starbucks, or you're at any coffee shop. You're in line, all right? So you're looking at the menu. You're trying to choose, oh, do I want a cafe latte? Do I want a macchiato? Do I want an espresso? And suddenly you notice, oh no, I don't have my wallet. I forgot my wallet. But luckily you're with your friend. You're at the cafe, you're at Starbucks with your friend. You have forgotten your wallet. So you need to ask your friend a request. What will you ask your friend? And this one is kind of embarrassing. If you forget your wallet, right? It's kind of embarrassing. So you need to ask a very polite request. Very, very polite request. So please use would you mind? Would you mind plus verb ing. Would you mind plus verb ing. So what will you ask your friend in this situation? You're at the coffee shop, you're in line, you forgot your wallet. You really need coffee. Right? So you want to drink coffee. Your friend is luckily with you. Your friend has a wallet, or maybe your friend has a credit card. What will you ask your friend? And please use would you mind? Would you mind something? And remember, this is the last question of today's lesson. Would you mind? So please, everybody, speak it out at home. Type it into the comment section so I can check your answers. This is the last question in today's live lesson. You're at Starbucks, you're in line, you don't have a wallet, you don't have any money on you. So you need to ask your friend. Your friend has a wallet, your friend is with you. What will you ask? Okay, and I'll give you another 5-10 seconds for someone to give me the answer before I share it with everyone. Okay, so let's answer this here. My answer in this situation, I would ask my friend is, would you mind lending me a few bucks for a coffee? I made it very, very casual. I made it very, very casual. YFS, would you mind paying my coffee? Okay, one more word we need here, YFS. Would you mind paying for my coffee? Would you mind paying for my coffee? XYZ, your answer, would you mind lending some money? In this, we also need to have that pronoun me. Would you mind lending me some money? Would you mind lending me some money? I wrote the answer, would you mind lending me a few bucks for a coffee? Does anybody know what bucks means? Bucks? Would you mind lending me a few bucks for a coffee? So what does bucks mean? What does that mean, Al? This is a slang word. It's quite commonly used in English. Bucks, and if I said a buck equals $1. $1. So a few bucks means a few dollars. So would you mind lending me a few bucks, a few dollars for a coffee? Okay. I could make it even, much simpler than that. I could just say, would you mind lending me some money? Would you mind lending me some money? That was what XY Z had answered as well. So would you mind lending me some money? That's a simple answer. If you want to use more slang, would you mind lending me a few bucks? XYZ, yes, dollar. A buck is $1. And YFS, very good. Paper money. Yes, so it's a bill. Long time ago, of course, in most countries, US is still using the dollar bill. A lot of countries have moved from the dollar bill to using coins. But yeah, generally that meant that paper money, but it's $1. $1 is $1. So it's not necessarily paper money anymore. I'm not really sure the origin of buck. I would assume, I'm guessing that long time ago, we used animal fur as money. And a buck is a type of animal. It's a type of, looks like a very large deer. So it could be coming from that. But now slang, a buck means a dollar. So a few bucks is a few dollars. So in this situation, would you mind lending me a few bucks for a coffee? All right. Great job. Great job, everyone. Now, some of you, if you've joined a little late, don't worry. You can watch the replay of this and you can go over all of the questions. Now, just to do a quick review, today we're basically making requests. And today we use 3 different types of requests. Can you, could you, and would you mind? And remember, with would you mind, we're using the ing form of the verb. And from can you all the way to would you mind, we're getting more and more polite. But again, can is also okay. It's, don't worry about it. You can use this. It's not rude. Can is also very common. All right. I use can a lot, but depending on the request, if the request is very important for you, then you should use a more polite request question word. For me, if it's very important, I use would you mind? Okay. So again, if you liked this lesson, I do have more of these lessons. I actually have a request lesson on my channel. You can check that out. If you want copies of this lesson, please let me know. And I also have more situations for anyone who wants to practice. Now, I plan to be doing more live lessons. I'm going to try to make it very regular. Today is Wednesday and Saturday. I might change Wednesday to Thursday. I'm not sure, but I will have a regular schedule. I'm planning to do 2 lessons a week where you can join me. I'll give you a grammar topic, but it will be situational practice. I'll give you situations and you have to use what we studied and you have to make a question or a sentence. I feel this is the best way to connect the English to real life. So again, I will be doing 2 lessons every week. So please join me. If you know anyone who needs to study or wants to study English, let them know as well. And you can watch the replay of this. It will be on YouTube. after we're done this stream. So does anyone have any final questions or comments? If you do, please leave it in the comment section. I'll give you a few minutes to type those. Any questions regarding requests? Any questions regarding live lessons? Or do you have any lesson requests? Is there a lesson you want me to teach? If so, let me know now, and I'll definitely prepare that lesson for you. Okay, so it looks like there are no questions now. If you do have any questions later, you can always leave it in the comments section on this video, and I can answer you afterwards as well. So don't worry if you can't finish typing, or if you think of a question later, just add it to the comments when this live stream is on YouTube. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I really hope you guys learned a little bit today. I hope, making requests are a little bit easier for you. It's really useful. So make sure you practice as well. And we do have one question from YFS. Can you do Saturday morning lesson like last week? It was an amazing start of the day. Thank you so much for the great comment, YFS. I appreciate that. And yes, I will be doing a live lesson this Saturday, same time as last week. That'll be 7 a.m. Japan time. I will post something online, and I'll give you the different time zones that you can follow with. But yes, this Saturday morning, I will be doing another lesson, YFS. Thank you for your comment, and I look forward to seeing you this Saturday as well. All right, guys. Thanks for joining me today. It was a great lesson. I had a really good time, and I'll see you in the next lesson. See ya.